Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Vox Agent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. So for this deep dive, our main goal is really understanding this huge strategic shift we're seeing. How OpenAI's app SDK is basically taking Chatgpt from, a really capable tool.
Standalone tool, yeah.
Exactly. Into something much more integrated, like a multifunctional super app ecosystem, but specifically for the enterprise.
And that distinction is super important for executives, I think.
Yeah.
When we say super app for business, we're not talking about the consumer model like WeChat or Alipay, payments, e-commerce.
Right, different focus.
Totally different. For enterprise, it's about bringing things together through conversation.
Right.
It becomes this single smart interface, kind of a central hub for all sorts of internal tasks, existing workflows, even those old legacy systems, and third-party services, too.
It's like they want to own that conversation layer itself. Right. And it feels very intentional, this pivot by OpenAI. Definitely not something that just happened. They made a big deal about it at Dev Day, didn't they? Targeting business workflows specifically.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see that targeting in the partnerships they announced. It's not just about showing off what the tech can do. It's about showing it can be everywhere. When they talk about embedding Spotify, maybe for business licensing.
Or Zillow.
Or Zillow, perhaps for corporate real estate stuff, right into the chat. That screams platform play. They want to be the default way knowledge workers operate digitally. It feels less like just a product update and more about dominating the platform.
Okay, platform dominance. Let's get into the nuts and bolts then. What's the core technology making this possible? We keep mentioning the OpenAI app, SDK, the software development kit. This has to be more than just like slapping a custom UI on a model, right?
Oh, much more. The SDK is the crucial framework. It lets developers build these apps in ChatGPT that run, natively. It's not just a simple API call. Think of it more like setting up a whole new operating environment inside the chat.
An environment. Okay.
Yeah, where you have persistence, shared context between different apps, and the ability to manage complex tasks across them without constantly switching windows. That's the real power of the SDK architecture.
And that ability to manage tasks, that orchestration, that leads us directly to this idea of agentic AI. It's a term executives hear a lot. How does the SDK actually turn ChatGPT from just a smart assistant into a true agent?
Right, that's the key shift, moving beyond just reacting. Your typical chatbot, well, it's reactive. You ask something, it finds an answer. Or you trigger an API, it does one specific thing.
One step.
Exactly. Agentic AI, which this SDK orchestration really enables, acts more like a proactive project manager. The system understands a complex, high-level goal, like plan the Q4 marketing budget review. Okay. But not just that.
More steps involved.
Way more. Summarize the regional performance data from our CRM, and then schedule follow-up meetings with the top 3 managers. That single request involves maybe 5 different subtasks.
Wow.
It needs to pull data from the budget system, the CRM, understand it, summarize it, then talk to the scheduling tool. The agent figures out the steps, the sequence, handles logging into different tools maybe, and just gets it done autonomously.
That sounds genuinely game-changing.
Yeah.
So the main benefit is this unified single chat surface for business stuff, basically killing off the need to constantly switch apps for these core cross-team tasks.
Pretty much. No more jumping between your expense tool, your calendar, your sales reporting. It all flows through that one conversation.
Okay, that's the architecture. Now let's talk value. Where's the immediate ROI? Let's start with the customer side. You mentioned this redefines customer engagement, this persistent, context-aware conversation across their whole journey.
Exactly right. The value is that persistence of context. Think about a customer dealing with a big retailer. Before checking an order, one web page, getting styling advice, a different app section, processing a return, yet another portal. So fragmented.
We've all been there.
Right. With this super app idea, it's one chat window. They can check the order, get AI styling tips based on their past purchases and what's actually in stock right now, and then start a return, all in the same conversation. Seamless. That builds serious loyalty.
And you can see how that scales up in more complex sectors like finance. Clients aren't just asking account balances. Through a secure agent, they could get complex, personalized portfolio analysis, not just a static PDF, and maybe even execute trades or rebalance things right there in the chat.
Yeah, connecting directly to the trading platform API securely, of course. And the scale of this opportunity, the numbers are staggering. The demand for this kind of smart, integrated engagement is huge. Just look at healthcare.
Okay.
The conversational AI market there is projected to jump from, around $17 billion in 2025 to nearly $170 billion by 2035. That kind of growth tells you businesses need to integrate these capabilities, now. Otherwise, their customer experience is going to feel ancient very quickly.
Okay, huge potential on the customer side. Let's flip that coin. What about inside the business, driving down costs, making operations smoother? You said the super app plugs into core systems, ERPs, CRMs, data lakes, becoming like a central nervous system for knowledge.
Precisely, and that's where you see potentially massive efficiency gains. That supply chain manager example you mentioned. It perfectly shows how you defeat that fragmentation problem. Managing inventory today is complex, right?
Definitely. Multiple systems.
The manager's probably pulling data from the inventory system, the ERP, then checking sales forecasts in the CRM, then maybe drafting purchase orders in another system. It's a lot of clicking around.
Yeah, copy-pasting.
Exactly. The agentic super app turns that into one interaction. The manager just asks the AI, analyze Q3 inventory, flag products with over 20% stockout risk based on the forecast, and draft POs for the top 3, prioritizing suppliers with the shortest lead times.
And the AI does the legwork.
It handles navigating the different software, running the calculations, even drafting the documents. You turn hours of work into a single high-level request.
That sounds almost too good to be true. So what's the biggest roadblock? What stops that supply chain scenario from being reality today, even with this SDK?
Well, the immediate, very practical challenge isn't really the AI's smarts. It's the state of the underlying data infrastructure in most companies. Those decades-old legacy back-end systems running critical functions.
The legacy problem.
Yep. The data needed for that complex request, it's often stuck in different silos, different databases, connected by brittle custom integrations. The AI agent is powerful, but it's only as good as the data pipes connecting it to those core systems. It really comes down to technical debt.
Gotcha. So the AI front end might be cutting edge, but the back end could be, let's say, fragile.
Held together with duct tape and hope sometimes, yeah. Now, if you can bridge that gap, the impact on the workforce is huge. The AI takes over the bulk of routine, data-heavy tasks, which fundamentally changes the human role. Instead of spending 80% of their time pulling data, fixing spreadsheets, writing basic reports, they get elevated. They focus on the tricky 10%, the complex negotiations, handling crises, strategic thinking, that empathy piece with customers that AI can't replicate yet. It's augmentation, really, not just replacement.
That makes sense. Which leads us to the big executive question, ROI. If the value is spread out, better customer experience, internal efficiencies, augmenting staff, how do you justify the investment? We know traditional metrics like NPV or IRR don't always capture this well.
They really struggle because AI value isn't neat and tidy. It's spread out, it builds over time, and often comes from things like increased speed or lower risk, which are hard to put in a standard budget line. So you need a more holistic way to look at it.
Like the cloud value framework, maybe?
Exactly like that. Something that looks across, say, 4 key areas. First, cost optimization. And that's more than just headcount reduction. It's optimizing cloud spend, maybe reducing data storage costs because things are better organized, getting rid of software licenses the super app makes redundant.
Okay, quadrant 1, costs.
Second, risk reduction. Think better compliance, fewer human errors. If an AI agent automates complex regulatory reporting or checks compliance consistently, you lower your risk of fines or operational screw-ups. The AI follows the rules every time.
Makes sense. And the other two, agility and resource efficiency. How do those get measured?
So increased agility is about speed. How fast can you react or innovate? If this super app lets you launch a new customer service channel or integrate a new financial product in weeks instead of months, that speed is a real market advantage. Faster time to market.
Competitive edge.
Definitely. And finally, resource efficiency. This is about getting the most out of your people and systems, the huge time savings we talked about. That frees up your smartest people for strategic work, not admin. It's about boosting the strategic output per employee. Executives have to look beyond just simple labor cost savings to see that total picture.
That framework sounds like a much better way to think about the ROI. But, okay, before anyone signs off on the budget, we have to address the elephant in the room, data privacy and security. Anytime you connect generative AI to core business data, this is, well, it's critical.
It's the absolute showstopper if you don't get it right. And to be fair, Openai has been very clear. They've committed that business data submitted via the API won't be used to train their public models. That's crucial for trust.
Foundational, yeah.
But the enterprise's job doesn't stop there. As this AI layer gets access to sensitive financial data, supply chain details, HR info, your internal governance needs have to ramp up significantly. You need robust internal security, strict access controls, solid auditing. You have to ensure this powerful AI agent doesn't accidentally become a source of data leaks or give someone access they shouldn't have. That needs investment right at the start.
Okay, so governance is key. Now let's tie this back to the competitive landscape. You said earlier this super app strategy is becoming a necessity, not just an option. Why is it so important for building a competitive moat, a lasting advantage?
Because the companies that adopt this early, they stop being just another software vendor and become an indispensable platform, deeply woven into the user's daily workflow. Think about it. Once an AI agent is handling your supply chain analysis, drafting your POs, summarizing sales reports from 4 different systems,
The switching costs are massive.
astronomical. You get vendor lock-in, but not because of bad contracts. It's lock-in through sheer convenience and deep personalization. Your AI agent knows your business context inside and out. A competitor with a standalone tool, even a great one, just can't compete with the inertia of that integrated convenience. You're embedded.
Looking out, say, 3 to 5 years, the trend seems to be heading towards even more powerful, more proactive AI agents.
Right.
Systems that don't just wait for you to ask, but initiate actions themselves based on what they're seeing.
That proactivity is definitely the next big step. We're moving towards agents that can independently plan and execute complex goals with less human handholding. Imagine an agent noticing, say, a 15% drop in sales for a product in one region.
Okay.
And then it plans a targeted promo campaign using the existing marketing budget, drafts the ad copy, maybe even kicks off the deployment, all before the human managers even had their first coffee.
Wow, and that level of capability drives this idea of hyper-personalization at scale, changing the whole customer relationship, making it more symbiotic.
Absolutely. That's the big takeaway for executives thinking about future customer relationships. Think about healthcare again. This super app isn't just booking appointments. It's like a personal health concierge.
Okay.
Managing prescription refills automatically, checking insurance pre-approvals, offering personalized health tips based on real-time wearable data. The AI isn't just helping with one task, it's helping manage the whole system of care around that person. So, the final takeaway. The mandate for executives listening, it's pretty clear and it needs action now. You have to start pilot projects. Pick areas with high friction, maybe crossing different departments.
Learn by doing.
Exactly. Learn how to actually connect this new AI generation to your existing, maybe clunky legacy systems. And crucially, invest heavily in the people you need, the integration experts, the data architects, the AI governance folks to make sure you can scale this stuff securely and properly.
And building right on top of that investment, that need for governance, given how powerful these autonomous agents can become and the fact you'll be touching sensitive company data, maybe the most critical first step is building that robust AI governance and compliance framework from day one. You absolutely need it to manage risk, figure out accountability if an agent messes up, and just ensure you're deploying this ethically across the board. Thank you for joining the podcast, and see you soon.